Hello, welcome back to another episode of True Tory TV. If you're welcome back. If you're new here, we talk all about energetics, embodiment. We go really, really deep and talk about like why we are the way that we are, or like I'll share about me or certain experiences that I have, and then I'll kind of generalize it and talk about it. I love to talk about spirituality, all the witchy stuff. And so yeah, that kind of leads into today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to get notified when I upload, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So today's episode is there's like a squirrel in the tree outside. Sorry, easily distracted. Okay. In today's episode, we're going to talk about spiritual tools and how to pick them. So first, I just want to preface that there's kind of this, it's kind of like a misconception with spiritual tools where I think some people, I don't know if it's like I guess it's just a belief all around. It depends on the person, who you are, your experience with things. I never really had this belief, but we're all different. So I think it happens with a lot of beginners, but it also is belief-based. So some people believe that the spiritual tool is literally like the agent of change. And that's not true. You are the agent of change, and your spiritual tool is just like a reminder, an energy shifter. Like it can just help you tap into that energy quicker, or if you feel really connected to it, which I do with all of my spiritual tools, and I'll go into that when I tell you how to pick them. But it's not the agent for change. It's kind of like you have to make the change. You have to take the action. You have to believe it's possible. You have to shift your energy, but the energetics of the thing and your connection to it can help you. So I want to be really clear that you're not looking for a crystal. Like say you get aventurine, that's a crystal that's good for good luck and prosperity, abundance. You get that, and then it's like, okay, I can just like sit here and I don't have to do anything, and like $10,000 is gonna fall into my lap. That's not how it works. Or if you get a salt, like I always remember. Sorry, my dog. I always remember this one thing that I saw, and it was when I was working in an office, and I saw one of my coworkers had all of this stuff on her desk. Like she had like a Zen Garden, like one of those little sand garden things with the little rake, like the mini desk ones with crystals in it, and she had a salt lamp, and she had like something else. And I remember just being like, and she was so like hostile and so, she was just very hostile. I'll leave it at that. And I was sitting there like, I was like, you're kind of contradicting yourself with like the salt lamp, the crystals, and then you're super hostile. And not to judge, I'm not judging, but I saw it as like she thought that all of those things made her spiritual, or all of those things made her a good person, or whatever it was. And my whole thing is like, don't put the onus on external factors to make you a good person, or to make you calm, or to make you spiritual. Like, yes, there's things that help, absolutely, which is what I'm saying, but you have the responsibility to behave in a way that feels good for you, and in a way that's like wholeheartedly good, if that makes sense. And so there's a lot of complications with that when it's like, you're setting a boundary that's good for you and your highest good, and like that may piss people off. Yeah, that's okay. Like you're not gonna ever make everybody happy, but you have to think in your heart. Like I think I always bring it back to integrity. If you're living in integrity with yourself, there's going to be no problems. And as long as you're being really, really fucking honest about that, because our egos can play tricks on us and be like, oh, there's no, and like where you're thinking you're living in integrity, but it's like, oh, I don't have to change for anyone. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that because it's about everyone. And the thing is that you're already focused on everyone else, and that's how you know it's your ego speaking, not your higher self. When your higher self it's like you're talking for your ego, it's like you're talking about yourself, but you have everyone else's reactions in mind. That's the ego. When you're acting out of integrity with your higher self, this is my truth. I feel it. I feel it in my intuition. I feel it in my heart. It's a feeling. It's not a thought, if that makes sense. So, and you start to, I'm getting a little off track here, but I think it's important. If you start to differentiate that, the more you get into your spiritual practices, the more that you get into your meditation, your embodiment practices, the more you get to know yourself, the more you go deep into your healing journey, you can start to differentiate between your intuition and your ego and what it feels like in your body and what kind of your own actions around it are. And so once you start to tap into those things, then it becomes a whole lot easier. And we're always evolving, we're always changing. Something, just keep in mind, something that worked for you 10 years ago perfectly may not work for you now, and that's okay. That's why we're always evolving and getting to know ourselves in a way that we can always tweak and change processes to work for us right now. And so that's really the little riff that I have on spiritual tools and making sure that you're aware that it's still your responsibility to like be calm, be a good person, be whatever it is you want to be, or whatever you think it is to be a good person or heart-centered or whatever it is. But like a crystal is not going to make you that. And the same thing with like oracle cards and tarot cards. And I don't really use tarot. I only use oracle cards right now. I don't have anything against tarot. I've said this before. I don't think they're evil. I know some people think they're like evil and like devil cards. I don't think that. I just haven't felt called to any tarot decks, and I've only felt called to oracle decks. And I just really love the diverse messages in oracle decks. So that's kind of my journey so far. But with oracle decks, it's the same thing. Like I use it as a way to tap into my intuition and for my soul to speak to me. I shuffle until something flies out. I don't pick a card. Again, nothing against picking cards. That's just when I shuffle and I let a card fall out and I take it, then I know that it was purely the card that was supposed to come out for me, and I can't play games in my head with like, I picked this one, but did I pick the wrong one? I don't know. Like, I don't like picking because then I get in my head about the energy and it's just like weird. So that's why I let it fly out. I let it be my soul, my higher self, my angels and spirit guides, the universe, whatever conspired for me to get that message. And then that's how I connect. That's how I connect to my higher self, my soul for the day. I don't do it every single day, but I love doing it. I did a big card pull this morning and it was just fucking amazing. But again, like I don't look at those cards and say like, it says like you have a relationship that may be ending. Like they're never super definitive, the cards. And so I look at them and I'm like, okay, how does that apply to me? What does it feel like in my body? Like, I'm not like, oh, they said relationship is ending, I have to break up with my fiance. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to have your own sense of discernment with the stuff. And I believe it's super powerful when you're connected to it in the right way, but I do not believe in giving up your personal power to these tools, or even like just acting like something else is determining your free will for you, because it's a co-creative process with the universe. We have our free will and the universe will align and put things into our path that are meant for us that we ask for because we have free will. So like, I don't believe that shit is just happening and there's nothing you can like do about it, if that makes sense. So use your discernment, hold on to your personal power in the process, especially if you're a beginner, if you've never done it before and you're watching this video and you're like, oh, awesome, like now I get to kind of start my spiritual journey in a really, really powerful and grounded way. I have been there. I hear people saying it where it's like, my tarot card said this, so that's like gospel and truth. And I just like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, I just think that you're giving up your personal power. I don't think it's about control either. I think it's just about giving up your personal power. You can interpret it how you want, but you have to stop letting other things, external things, determine your fate, and just know that, feel in your body how you really want to interpret it. Like, don't just take and be like, oh my God, that makes no sense for my life, but who knows? Like, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. The jury's out. It's weird. Either way, the next thing I wanted to talk about, and the last thing I wanted to talk about is how to choose your spiritual tools. So, crystals, oracle decks, incense, like different scents of incense, different sage bundles, candles, like spiritual candles with crystals in them, intention candles, stuff like that. I have all of the above. I love them all so much. The biggest thing I've found is that, and I think a lot of people will tell you this, is I just find what I'm drawn to. Whatever I'm drawn to, I'll get it. Or like, another thing I like to do is I like to go to my local spiritual shop. It's like my favorite one. It's kind of like my home shop. I go there, and I'll go to spiritual shops like that aren't in my normal like way of being, I guess. I don't know. This is the one that I love, that is a town over from me, that I go to all the time, that feels like home. That's what I meant by my home shop. And I did a spiritual show and tell on that a few videos ago. You can go find it. And I go in there and I just like wander. If I don't know what I want, but I'm feeling called to go in there, I'll go and I'll just wander. And it's really fun. And sometimes I come out with stuff and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I come out with a lot. Sometimes I don't. I don't always buy an oracle card deck just because, like, I'll only buy it if something's calling to me or if I'm looking for something specific. Crystals, sometimes they call to me and I'll be drawn to something. Like, sometimes you're just drawn to it. That's a good sign that you should get it. I don't believe in not buying certain things online. I think you have to be careful with crystals and stuff like that. I haven't bought any crystals online. I like to do that in person. If you are not in a place where you have access to crystals like that, I mean, I have a lot of places where I have access to it. So if you're not in a place where you have access to crystals like that, just make sure you do your research, make sure they're like authentic and sourced in like the right way, because there's a lot of energy behind these things. And like I said, you have the power and your personal power, but you want to make sure that you are getting things that are pure and authentic and of the right energy that they're intended to be. And so just make sure you do your research. Unfortunately, I don't have much more info on that just because I don't typically buy crystals online. Use your discernment and do your research on where they're sourced. That's all I'll say about that. That's all I really know about it. I guess the same thing could be said to be with a shop. Like, I know they sell crystals at like Marshall's. I don't really know how real they are. Like, I don't know where they're coming from. I feel much more comfortable when I'm at a shop, like a crystal or a metaphysical shop, because you know that they most likely sourced, or they could tell you where it's from. Like there's stuff like that. So yeah, as far as oracle decks and books and stuff like that, if you're feeling called to it and drawn to it, and you don't have a shop near you that sells it, order it online. I ordered my first 2 oracle decks online, and I just felt really drawn to them, and I love them so much, and they're still very powerful. Like, if you feel drawn to it, do it. That's what I say about it, because there's a reason for it, and you'll feel so connected. It'll really help you to tap into your intuition, tap into your soul messages and communication within yourself, like all of your communication systems within yourself. So that's my tips on spiritual tools, how to choose them, using your discernment when choosing them, standing in your personal power and making sure you're not giving up any power to the tools and feeling like, they're holier than thou kind of thing. I don't agree with that. And I don't think it's a really healthy practice to have. And also the first thing I mentioned, where it's like, make sure that you're being honest with yourself about the kind of person you're being, and you don't think that you're just spiritual or you're just calm and nice because you have a salt lamp. So they may be unpopular opinions, they may be a little bit of tough love, but those are my opinions. I am so happy and grateful that you spent your time and your energy with me today. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification to get updated when I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you could give me a thumbs up if you like this video, that would be great. And let me know in the comments what you think about any of the opinions that I said, if you've experienced any of them in your spiritual journey, and or if you found them helpful. Or if you disagree, that's fine too. Let's have a healthy debate. Like, no disrespect in the comments. No, this is not a place for disrespect or hate, but like, differing opinions is okay. So let me know what you think in the comments. Again, I'm very happy that you were here today. You shared your energy with me and your time. I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.